Alright, peeps. We're only about 3 books away from New York to Dallas. It's going to be a very, very difficult book for the character to go through. The series has been, this is the big crescendo of her life, her background, her childhood, her mental stability. It's a big, huge, it's a very important book in the series. It's the crescendo, all the little pieces that you've lived through all the previous books hits the ceiling in New York to Dallas. But anyways, before we do that, this is the D. Louise book series, and I'm Christina, Kristina. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy stuff going on here. And we are doing book 30. Fantasy and Death. Burt Monarch has died in a sealed, locked room playing a role-playing game. If you want to see my review, please go check out my review of this book. In Death, D. Louise book series, I think, or D. Louise book series In Death. And, but this year, we are doing, the character spoilerizations. 100% character spoilerizations. Eve is a lieutenant in the New York City Police and Security Department. Her husband is Rourke. Peabody is her partner. McNabb is Peabody's life partner, but he's also a detective in EDD, the Electronic Division. Feeney is her mentor and boss, or former mentor, and now he's captain of EDD. Somerset's Rourke's major domo, father-like figure. We have Mavis Freestone, the rock star best friend. Leonardo, the fashion designer, Mavis's husband. Bella, her kid. Nadine, Channel 75's hottest reporter, also a book writer, future screenwriter. Baxter Chuhart worked for Eve. And Trina. Oh, good God. We are so scared of Trina. It's not funny. And she does hair and makeup. Trina will have her book, too. So, we're just doing character spoilerizations. This book turned out, please be prepared. Grab your beverage, your juice, your breakfast, your dinner, you whatever. Sit down. Let's read Fantasy and Death, shall we? Let's see. We try not to spoil the plot. We just try to spoil the characters in this round. Eve loves... It doesn't happen here. But Eve loves to interact with the doormen and be superior to them. But it unfortunately, this isn't how it goes. But this is her and Peabody entering the building. Lieutenant Eve badged the shell-shocked doorman and breezed by. The sun and sultry heat left over from the night storm boosted her mood. At her side, her partner Peabody wilted. A couple of months ago, all you did was bitch about the cold. Now you bitch about the heat. Never satisfied. Peabody, her dark hair pulled back in a stubby tail, continued to bitch. Why can't they regulate the temperature? Who are they? The weather people. They must have the technology. Why not give us at least a couple of weeks of steady mid-70s? It's not too much to ask. You should get Rourke to work on it. Yeah, right. Rourke can do that. Yeah, I'll tell him to get right on that, right after he buys the last 10% of the universe. Eve rocked back on her heels as they took the elevator up and thought of her husband of almost 2 years. Actually, he could probably figure something. If you want regulated temps, get a job where you work inside with climate control. June's supposed to be daisies and waft breezes. Peabody waved a hand in the air. Instead, we're getting a thunder, boomers, and humor to kill. I like boomers. Peabody dark eyes narrowed as she studies Eve's angular face. You probably had lots of sex last night. You're almost perky. Shut up. I'm never perky. Almost. You're verging on perky. You're verging on a boot up your butt. That's better anyway. And they go into the office and talk with the peeps. And let's move on. Then Peabody's main squeeze is a little bit on the colorful side. Since this is a computer case, we need our computer geeks. Eve heard McNabb before she saw him. If he'd been a teenage girl instead of a grown man, she'd have called the sound he made a squeal. Holy jumping Jesus, this place is ice to the cube. Settle down, boy, this is a crime scene. She caught Feeney's reprimand, but she recognized the edge of excitement in his tone. The EDD captain and her former partner wasn't just a grown man, she thought, but a freaking grandfather. Still, maybe e-geeks were always kids under the skin. Somebody should say something like a prayer. And they brought Calendar. The reverential whisper made Eve shake her head. Maybe she expected more from that source, as Calendar was female. She went to the stairs, looked down at the three of them. She saw Feeney's grizzled head, the ginger and silver, McNabb's eye-searing orange Congo pants, and the sunburst of Calendar's shirt. When you're finished being odd and gooey, maybe you could mosey on up here. We got a pesky little murder to deal with, Eve said. Feeney looked up, and Eve saw she'd been right. There was a flush of excitement on his usual mopey face. McNabb just grinned, and the little bounce in his step had his shining blonde ponytail swaying. Calendar at least had the grace to look slightly sheepish as she hunched her shoulders in a shrug. This place is a cathedral to all and game, McNabb called up. I'm sure the dead guy up here would be thrilled with your approval. Ah, I just love it. I just love it. Some people who looked barely old enough to buy a brew and all clad in wild colors or the sag and bag of loungewear bounced over the 4 open floors. To her ear, they seemed to talk all at once in their incomprehensible East shorthand. As they operated handhelds, communicated on headsets, played with smart greens, and slurped down a variety of bottle of go drinks. It was like EDD on Zeus, Eve thought. It's Nerd World, Peabody said, or Geek Galaxy. I can't decide which because it's full of geeks and nerds. It's Nerd World in the Geek Galaxy. How can they hear themselves think? Why doesn't anybody close a door? As someone who lives with a geek with aspects of nerd, I can tell you they claim the noise, the movement, the chaos keeps them up, keeps them sharp. Their heads should all expose. Eve watched people ride up and down old freight elevators encased with glass or jog up and down iron stairs in clunky air boots or skinny skids. It's just cute. You just gotta love it. Let's move on. So she's talking to Feeney. Why did I want this page? I've got good news and bad news, Feeney told her. Good first. It's been a crap morning. We were able to do this stuff with the plot. Contact Feeney again. He and McNabb and Calendar can come down. They speak geek anyway. Copy that. McNabb's going to wet his pants when he sees this place. And won't that be fun? You hear me there now. You gotta love it. I'm sorry. I just enjoy these books tremendously. She's talking to Rock here. If she had a head for, let's see. Had to be done, Eve thought. She'd have filled him in when she got home in any case, and the murder would leak to the media before much longer. He'd know when it did, as he made a point to monitor the crime beat, just a way to keep up with her. If she had the head for it, she supposed she'd have monitored the stock market and business. Good thing for him she didn't have a clue. She opted for his personal link, figuring he'd be too busy willing to answer and she could leave him a V-mail. But his face flickered on screen and those bold blue eyes fixed on hers. Lieutenant, nice to hear from you. The combination of those eyes Every time. He could have walked out of the room 5 minutes ago, walked back in. She's still gonna have the little old heart full. It happens every single book. Sorry to interrupt, whatever. I'm on my way back from a lunch meeting, so you caught me at a good time. Where? Florence. The pasta was exceptional. What can I do for you? I caught a case. You often do. And then she tells him about who the victim is. And they talk some. Alright, let's fast forward. Fast forward, fast forward. I could sit here and read the whole book to you, but I cannot. Let's see. Nope. Alright, let's skip this part. It's mostly case related. So Eve and Peabody are in the car. They're having discussion. And Peabody says to Eve, she uses she's referring to the man body part. We'll just leave that as the man body part. And Peabody wants to know if it ever gets tired. Whose? Anybody's. I mean, anybody with one. Does the male body part ever just think, for God's sakes, pal, give it a rest? Or is it all, woohoo, here we go again? Is this germane to the case, or have you lapsed into girl talk? It springs from the case. I was thinking about this guy that he's with his mistress all afternoon. A triple header, according to her. Floor, bed, and against the door. Then last night he's bucking Roland in fantasy gameplay. Pirate, captain, and cabin boy. Stop! Wait! And this morning he sneaks in coffee and a quickie with Chelsea. And then he follows the shower. Jesus, Peabody. Well, I didn't ask for the dirty details, but all three of them just blurted it out when they found out about the others. I think most Ginnies would say, hey, don't think about putting anything in there for a while. Ginnies? It's a nice name for the V, and I really think after a couple of rounds, under most circumstances, your average genie would say, okay, that'll hold me for a while. But does the male body part just searching out office? I wonder, since I don't have one. In case you're wondering, neither do I. I've seen you naked, so I know this. I think even the most stalwart and energetic male body part would at some point say, enough's enough for today or tonight, and since, hey, I'm relaxed now, I'm taking a little vacay or a nap. See now, I've got this image of a man body part sitting at a swim-up bar at a resort, wearing sunshades and drinking one of those stupid drinks full of fruit and paper umbrellas. Ah, that's cute. It's not cute. It's scary. It's disgusting. I'm not sure which, or both. What a discussion to have with your girl pal or your partner in the vehicle driving to your next interview with a suspect. All right. Let's move forwards. So they're trying to get into this building, and they're approached by a servant droid. All skinny, dignity in a stark black suit, had Eve snuffling a snort. He could have been Somerset's brother, not only in appearance but by the derisive dismissal on his face as he peered down at her. He looks a lot like the biggest pain in my ass, Eve finished, and thinking of Rourke's majordomo, smiled thinly. Got a name, pal, or just a number? I'm Derby. He'd been programmed with a Tony British accent. If you inform me of the nature of your business with Mr. So-and-so, I can relate to him. Your companion has not yet identified herself. Peabody, Detective Delia, and she held up a badge. I like these people. You know, you get to know them, you start talking about them like they're real. They only exist on paper, they only exist in Nora Roberts' head. But, you know, we just get carried away. Then why did I want this page so much? She's talking to Rourke. You enjoy weapons, he says. I like knowing I've got one that does what it needs to do when I need it to do it. Then they talk about the games and the sword. And uh, they're going to interview somebody, right? And Rourke is with her, and she goes, "Try to look like Peabody." Sorry? Serious, official, yet approachable. You forgot adorable. Peabody is not adorable. She is from my perspective. Besides, I was talking about me. She barely smothered the laugh before the door opened. Um, then we get home after we've interviewed the suspect. Um, so yeah, she's sending Peabody on a undercover mission to a Comic-Con. And she's telling Rook about that. And they stop to have dinner. You start the search for the weapons. I'll put something together. Will you now? She couldn't really fault his skepticism. I won't program pizza. He got out of the car, waited for her, took her hand. What's the occasion? You have good taste in houses. I have a good taste in all manner of things, especially wives, he said. He lifted her hand to his lips and kissed her. She gave Somerset a good long study as he stood exactly where she'd expected, a harbinger of doom in the foyer with the chub of a cat at his feet. I saw your evil twin today. Wait, you're the evil twin. I think he is the same tailor, too. I am Funeral. Well, that was clever, Rock said, and pinched the hand he'd just kissed. We'll be eating upstairs tonight, he told Somerset. Hardly breaking news. There's some nice grilled swordfish if the pair of you choose to eat like adults. Swordfish, Eve considered. Might be lucky considering you don't have to pinch me. She added as they continued up, and the cat, his mind was very likely on food, raced up with them. I really did see this evil twin today. You can ask Peabody, of the droid variety, and it had one of those fake sounding upper class Brit accents. It was a ringer. I bet you could buy it cheap if you ever wanted to replace the dower with a droid. You're asking for another pinch. Probably a bad idea about the switch. As much as I hate to say it, I think the droid's worse. Did Somerset ever tell you not to drink too many fizzes because they're not really good for you? Probably, possibly. And while he was doing that, he taught you how to steal. I already knew how to steal. He taught me how to steal with a bit more finesse. Dinner? And if it's the swordfish, open a 57 Laurent. It would be a nice compliment. No pointers, otherwise it doesn't count in my column. Um, so more about this. Um, so she does make the fish. Rourke picked up the wine she'd set on the table by the window. She'd taken his advice there and poured 2 glasses. Searches are running. He lifted one of the hot lids and noticed she'd chosen the swordfish and paired it with asparagus and fries. The fries are a compromise since I'm eating fish, she said. I thought about making yours with one of those rice deals you seem to like for no good reason I can think of. But then it's more like going out to a restaurant than fixing a meal at home. So you get what I get. You have the oddest thought patterns at times, he says. It looks good. It ought to. I slaved over a cool auto chef for a full 5 minutes. Why does this fish have a sword? Is this a riddle? No, it's a question. Do they go en garde touche thing? Or do they just go around stabbing unarmed fish because they can? Maybe they do battle with the hammerheads. Swords got a longer reach than a hammer, but a hammer could break a sword. It might be interesting, but I think it's a stupid to bring a hammer to a sword fight unless it's all you've got. Use whatever weapon comes to hand, and anything that comes to hand is a potential weapon. What you think? And then they have some more dinner conversation. They talk about the case. And then they bring up our favorite boy, our favorite college student. Jamie's younger, she pointed out, speaking of Feeney's godson and other Ewiz. He's been around a lot. You've worked with him, so have I. Bart was nothing like Jamie. He hadn't the edge, the street savvy, and certainly not any inspiration to turn his considerable skills towards a career in EDD. Jamie's the next thing to family. And they talk more about that. And let's skip ahead. Let's see. Don't you love these books? Don't you like talking about these books? I love reading these books. I wish I could just sit here and read the entire book. But you know what? Susan Erickson does a much better job than me. On top of the world, happy-go-lucky, doesn't seem like the type who ends up on a slab at the morgue with his head on a tray. He was rich, relatively successful, content to competitive, Peabody pointed out. Fertile ground for jealousy. Yes, it is. She pulled out a link when it signals, read a text from work. We're splitting off. I want you and McNabb to go to East Washington. There's a mini-con at the Potomac Hotel. Road trip! Before you break out the soy chips and go-cups, you're going as collectors. You're especially interested in swords. Undercover road trip! And now executed a quick, happy dance. Jesus, Peabody maintained some dignity. I got to go home and change. I look too much like a cop. Eve surveyed the summer breeze pants, the cheerful striped skids. You do? I just got the things. I need a lot of more sparkle, more color. Great. Go get those. Grab McNabb and taste the first shuttle. Shuttle? Like one of Rourke's? No, not one of Rourke's. Like regular people. Peabody's like, oh. And she tells Peabody what she wants her to do at this Comic-Con. I have got to sneeze. So then she goes up to EDD. Got a minute? Yeah, you took my boy. Since they were all boys, regardless of gender, it took Eve a minute. McNabb, I asked you first. I hadn't had my coffee. You get these notions in the middle of the damn night. It puts me at disadvantage. It was after 6 in the morning. Middle of the night when I didn't crash out until 2. Now I'm doing his work. I asked first, she muttered. What is it? And then they talk about the case. Alright, that's for me. Alright, so then we get a visit from our gal pal. Eve is thinking about the case. She's in her chair. She's got her feet up. Nadine walks in. Nice work if you can get it. She didn't bother opening her eyes. She already heard the click of heels, the rhythm of them, and knew Nadine First, Channel 75's ace on air and host of the wildly popular Happening Now, News Happening Now, stood in her doorway. I don't smell any donuts. It's the middle of afternoon. I use cookies. She rattled the box in her hand and saved you 3, and it wasn't easy. What kind of cookies? Mega chocolate chunk. I know you, don't I? And I know you. I'm not giving you anything on the investigation. I'm here for that, though I'd never turn it down. She dropped the box on the desk. I had Bart Minnock on the show a couple of times. He's a sweet boy. I hope you roast his killer. Working on it. So I see. Then she's like, you're not supposed to see my murder board. How long have we been friends? Not really all that long, she said, and made Nadine laugh. God, you're a hard ass, which is probably why you're my friend. I'm here to personally and in person remind you your presence is desired at my book launch party tomorrow night. And no, I don't expect you to remember, but Rock will. It hits day after tomorrow, the book does. So, God, I'm so nervous. No, make that terrified. Why? Why? What if it bombs? Why would it bomb? Well, Jesus, because it sucks? It doesn't suck. You made me read it. I mean, you asked me to read it. Eve amended on the chance that there was a friendship rule about made me. For accuracy, since the iCode case was mine, which I did, it didn't suck and it was accurate. Great, it doesn't suck. Fabulous. I wonder if I can get them to put that as a PR quote. Lieutenant Eve Salas says the book doesn't suck. I gotta sneeze my nose. You know, my co-host has abandoned me all day today. All day. Did you need permission? Nadine flopped in a chair. Oh, make yourself the F at home. Can't you see him working on a murder here? Can't you see him having a breakdown here? Nadine snapped back. Okay, because it was rare to see Nadine so jittery, Eve rose and went to the auto chef. You can have coffee, pull yourself together, then get out of here. Oh, thanks a bunch. Listen, I told you it was good when you should ask me to read it. The review says it's good. You read the reviews? I maybe saw one or two somewhere. The point is, you did a solid job. More than if it matters what I think, you made it human and important, and you didn't sentimentalize it. That's a word. You got it accurate, and that matters, but you made it real, and that's probably just as important. So stop being a big baby about it. I knew I'd feel better if I came by here, you bee. I'd really like you to be there tomorrow night, even if you can't stay long. I need you to kick me in the ass again. What are friends for? I'll try. I'll plan on it. But if something breaks on the case, remember who you're talking to. I know the priorities of the job. Anyway, if you're roasting the balls of whatever did this thing, and there's some other bad words. And then Eve enjoys a cookie. So then Peabody comes home from her undercover mission. I gotta blow my nose again. Hold on. I got tissue on my sweater. So, alright. So, I'm back. Did you miss me? Peabody bounced in, then flopped in the visitor's chair. Geez, do you know what that shuttle's like this time of day? It's a zoo. Animal ferocity, and it smells. Plus, the air unit fizzled 20 minutes out of the station. Add jungle heat to that. I want a 2-hour shower. You had sex. What? What? Why do you say that? You can't have sex on the shuttle. You die of heat frustration and be arrested. You had sex before you got on the shuttle. There better not be an expense chip by the hour flop onto my desk tomorrow. We didn't use some cheap by the flop. We played games as ordered, Peabody said. I don't want to know what kind of games. Really, really good games. Ones that call for excellent reflexes and superior physical stamina. We're going to save up and buy new juicy games for each other for Christmas. Is this your report? No, this is the shuttle boiled my brain babble. Whoa. What's that on your thing? What the hell is that? Oh, it's my love dragon. It's a temp. A love dragon. You're wearing a love dragon on your thing, most of which is spilling out of whatever that is not covered up with. It's a look. It works. Trueheart nearly choked on his tongue when I walked through the bullpen, Peabody sighed. It was pretty satisfying. It may be you confused undercover with undercovered. Either way, I don't want to see your love dragon tomorrow. Now, if you've rested and recovered from your arduous assignment, I'd like that report. So then she gives her report of the case and all the stuff they talked to. And then she comes out with, we got you a present. Why? Because she unzipped one of her pockets and pulled out a small gun. What is it? It's a toy gun. A Derringer, a card shop, and a saloon girls carry in Western Visit. It's like a clutch piece. Yeah. Check it out. Peabody cocked it, and a sultry female voice purred out of the barrel. Put those hands where I can see them, cowboy. It has all sorts of audio streams, male, female. I figured you'd want the female. Plus, she aimed it at Eve, pulled the trigger as Eve said, "Hey." The little gun let out a brave little bang. No, next one goes lower, and you won't be poking a woman with that stick of yours for the rest of your miserable life. Isn't it cute? You could play saloon girl, and Rock could be high stakes gambler, and that's entirely never mind. Peabody offered a smile. Yes, it's cute. No, it's none of your never mind. Eve took the Derringer, cocked it. You better hightail it before that tail's sporting another hole. Yes, it could use better dialogue. It's apt enough. Hightail it. Yes, sir. Peabody, thanks. Thanks for the gun. Later on, I forget which book it is. Her and McNabb do another thing, and she brings it back, and it's kitschy. She calls it kitschy. There had been a time, Rock thought, not so long ago in the bigger sheen, when a few hours in a cop shop would have been something to be carefully and ruthlessly avoided. Now he spent so much time in one, he knew which vending areas to avoid, which glides tend to drag or crowd up, and how filthy cop coffee could be by the end of the tour. I'm telling you, if Eve would just let his company take over the vending and put in decent food and a decent cafeteria, but no. Eve thinks and totally 100% believes that bad food and bad coffee is the right of a cop. I'm telling you, the other million police officers in her division, in her state, don't think that way. Just Eve. His life had taken a sharp and strange turn the first instant he laid eyes on a cop, his cop, in an ill-fitting suit and coat and an ugly gray suit. He fingered the button from that suit. He always has the button in his pocket, and you're always told he has the button in his pocket at various times in the thing. She'd been a first for him at a time when he'd come to believe he'd done nearly everything worth doing at least once. Had he been bored? He wondered as he angled his way down a glide. No, not bored, but perhaps a bit unsettled, restless, certainly dissatisfied in the ways he hadn't been able to put his finger on it. Then there she was. Somebody must have planted that wallet on me. I got enemies. I was only running 'cause I had a bus to catch. Do I look like a pickpocket, do I? You do indeed, Rock thought. If you can't lift a wallet without fumbling the snatch, you don't deserve your 90-day stretch. Eve wouldn't think quite that way, he mused. It wasn't the getting the caught, but the act itself that earned the stretch. Most of the time he agreed with her, and in fact had edged over to her side of the line more and more as time went by. A bit of a quick fingers, well, everyone had to make a living, didn't they? Even a street thief. He ought to know. He gets to her department. Detective Baxter stood by his desk, straightened his tie. He paused, tapped a finger to his temple in salute. LT's in her office, trying to get ahead. Rourke acknowledged the black humor with a quirked brow. You've had all day, and that's the best you've got? Already used up all the good ones. Anyway, I've been off shift for, hey look, almost an hour, so my brain's a little detached. Better marginally. Where's your boy? Sent him home and stayed to finish up the floors and other crap. He's got a date. Trueheart's got a date. Yeah, Trueheart's finally worked it up to ask the little redhead and cutie in records. He was seeing somebody else, but it fizzled. Civilians have a hard time working it out with cops. Present company accepted. Understood. Anyway, he's trying out the dinner and vid routine, after which they'll likely exchange a friendly handshake. Kid moves like a glacier when it comes to the female's persuasion. Otherwise, he's a quick study. You suit each other. Yeah, who'd have thought? Anyway, I'm gone myself. I've got a date, and I expect to be shaking more than a hand at the end of the evening. Good luck with that. Friend, it ain't but luck. He walks to Eve's office. She stood in front of her murder board, hands on her hips. Computer, save and copy all data to my home unit. This is good timing. I need some mulling time. I've copied, sealed, and logged. She took it from him. Aren't you official? Certainly hope not. You can have your mulling time on the way. I've got a couple of things. That can wait. I want dinner. She pulled out a detonator. Obviously, he lifted his hands and surrendered. Don't shoot. I'm unarmed. Bet you're not. He only smiled. You can search me later. Clever little thing. Where'd you get it? Souvenir from Peabody McNabb. She cocked it. It's small. It's mean. Just like me. He laughed and stepped forward to take a better look at it. There was the screen show. Television, he corrected him. As it was about a century ago. Was it? In any case, it was an American West. And the hero was a mercenary. Gun for hire. He carried one of these. I hope he didn't charge much. He had the full size as well, but this was his clutch piece. There you are. We'll have to watch some of them the next time you're free, Lieutenant. Now, as Baxter would say, we're gone. Okay, you drive. I know they play with the gun some more. And then she tells him she saved him a cookie from Nadine. And, her book hits this week, exactly. And when were you going to remind me about this party deal tomorrow night? Tomorrow. Giving you less time to fuss and fret about having to go to a party where you're deep into a case. I don't fuss and fret. No, you bitch and complain, but it's a nice evening. I use code. She eyed him over a swig of beer. There's no point in denying what was the truth. I suppose you've already decided what I'm wearing. There would be suitable attire earmarked through. Naturally, you might decide you prefer something else. You could always go through your closet tonight and give it some thought. Yeah, that's gonna happen. They just give Eve clothes and she puts them on. If the case breaks, assuming you're right about it, being one of those three, you can hardly be facing down a career criminal fighting for your life. At the core of it, they're still geeks. So tell me why you have to go, which is not your default statement when it comes to events like this. She blew out her breath as the pizza landed in front of them. Because I meant it when I said Nadine was whacked. She got herself all wound up, wrapped up, twisted up about the book thing, and how maybe it sucks and all that. Lack of confidence is what you call her default setting either. She's put a lot into it, and it's for her it's a new era. I get it. So I've got at least to show my face, to do the moral support, which is one of the annoyances of friendships. That's my girl. And they eat pizza and they talk about dinner, then they talk about the case. Right, that's for me. Let's see what Peabody has to say here. I don't know why I wanted this. This is not. I don't see. Alright, let's just skip it. Let's see. Alright, that's them being. Oh. They're going through the guy's apartment. They're going through all his belongings. And Feeney's there. And, he had a droid. And, let's see. Name's Alfred, Feeney told her. Butler to Bruce Wayne's confidant of the Dark Knight. What? The Dark Knight? Batman, kid. Even you've heard of Batman. Yeah, vigilante with psychotic tendencies who dresses up in a weird bat costume. Rich playboy by day, right? The Dark Knight's an icon. Feeney jabbed finger matched his tone, insult. And so he uses those so-called psycho tendencies for good. Anyway, old Alfred here's been shut down the last couple days. He was the household droid, like Somerset. Um we've got to go to Nadine's party. Um uh, we're going to head home from here if that's okay. We're cutting it close. Cutting what? Prep time for Nadine's party. Oh, and thanks for the limo. Oh, shoot, I forgot to read. That's the part I was looking for before. When Peabody itches and bitches about her clothing for the party and then the fact that it's going to rain and she didn't want to get stuck on the limo. I missed that part. It's here somewheres. I had copied them. Um, Prep time for Nadine's party. And thanks for the limo. Peabody added as Eve thought. SDF. Somerset contacted me with all the info, so we'll see what to do. Yeah, right. Eve cut Peabody off, saved all current data, ordered the works copied to a home office, and fled. She wasn't late, she told herself, as she slammed the brakes in front of the house. She had plenty of time since she didn't have hours to primp in front of a mirror. Besides, nobody got to one of these deals on time, which made no sense to her. Why have a time, then ignore it? Social functions were unwieldy and strange, and they had their own set of rules that were even more unwieldy and strange. She burst into the office, started to curl her lip at Somerset, then stopped and stared. He wore black, big surprise, but not his usual gear, his formal black tuxedo with a striped white shirt that looked as stiff as his neck. You might save the excuses for another time. You'll need all you have left to transform yourself. Why are you wearing that monkey suit? It's a formal affair. You're going? Yes, and I'll be on time. I'll explain to your friend why you are late. They're waiting for you. I'm going. They? Eve thinks as she runs up to the stairs. He can't be human, she muttered, and hurried up to the bedroom. I'm not late because everybody goes late, which is the only other reason why. Why is she here? Trina sat there drinking some champagne, waiting for Eve to come home so she could do Eve's hair and makeup. Because Eve is kind of like the secondary star of the story. Yes, Nadine wrote it, and yes, Nadine is going to win quite a few awards, but it's about Eve, and the story revolves around Eve, and Eve needs to look excellent. Yeah. Everybody goes late, she said, echoing Eve's initial excuse. It'll take me 20 minutes because I'm a freaking genius. I've got a rep. I've got a salon. I do Nadine's hair for now. And I finished her an hour ago. Most you know about anything, I have your hair. I have my hair. It's attached to my head. You skated out before I could take care of it at Louise's deal, murder and all that. And it looks like somebody hacked it off with an ice pick. Are you going to do this mag deal with this hunk of superior man flesh? Looking like you've been in a fight with a farm animal? I thought it was an ice pick. A farm animal, an ice pick. Do you look better when I've worked on you or not? And she's like, traitor, completely out of my hands. You can't turn your knife into Somerset, as you won't do in any case. He let her in. Dallas, you don't want me to come in there. I'll deal with you later, because she's hiding in the bathroom. It's a big night, Trina began as she swirled the protective cape over Eve. Nadine looks abso-fab thanks to me, and so will you. Nice and clean. Good. She pulled it back, secured it, and then lowered the chair to half recline. Wait a minute. You said hair. Your hair's attached to your head, remember? Your face is part of your head. You're getting a lightning facial. That's all we'll have time for. What's wrong with my face? You've got a good one, and you're going to keep it that way. Keep it up, close your eyes, and it'll go faster. And wait till you see Mavis. Leonardo designed a killer outfit for her. I did them this afternoon and got to play with Bella. The baby girl is a baby girl. It almost makes me want one. Mavis is going to help Peabody with her due since I'm up here. Um, did they move in together yet? I forget if they moved. I think they moved in. Um, Peabody, McNabb, and Mavis and Leonardo live in the same building that Rock owns. You just wait. Uh, so Trina does her stuff. I trust she didn't knock you unconscious, Rourke said. She is very good at her work. It's a different look for you, but lovely and elegant. Very suitable for the occasion. Here, I thought you would need this. And he gives her a glass of champagne. Um, it's stupid not to care. I'm not stupid. I'm also smart enough to know I'm lucky you think about things like this so I don't have to. Enjoy it, you don't. Leonardo does exceptional work and he knows your body, your style, and your preferences. They just make her clothes and she puts them on. She doesn't think about it. um so then they get to the party. Um You're here, Peabody. Her hand caught in McNabb's, hurried over on the famous shoes. They were silver, opened at the toe to show off pale pink toenails, strapped multiple times at the ankles and sparkly as Nadine's pins. Isn't this mag total? Everyone's here. Nadine's so happy. The music's completely hot, and Mavis said she's agreed to do a number later. Gosh, you guys look seriously beautiful. You couldn't look lovelier. Rock took Peabody's hand and kissed it. You're a lucky man, Ian. McNabb grinned. Damn right. And if things go my way, I'm getting lucky later. And Peabody elbows him. And Eve is like, please, just don't talk about sex with me. Don't talk about sex. I knew that dress would be triple T on you, Mavis said. This is the juiciest party. Look at us. We're the juice. Moon pie. See what Dallas does with your dress. It's what Dallas does for the dress. I hope you like it. It's terrific. Thanks for the pockets. He smiled at her, kissed her cheek. I thought you'd like having them. Let me get you all a drink. I'll help you with that, Rourke says. Here's Trina. Be right back. I need to ask her a hair question. You sick Trina on me, didn't you? Mavis rounded Midnight Blue's eyes and innocent. Don't you have to read me my rights before you question me? Another smartass. And I don't know why. I get tired of it. Why do they have to bring up the fact that that's the way Eve and Mavis met? Was that Eve arrested Mavis? I'm tired of it. It's 60 books. Just stop. Just stop. Just stop. I don't want to know about him. And then she has more talk with Mavis, and then I wanted to see where is it. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. And Calendar and Feeney are there, and Baxter's there, and what? Did Nadine invite the entire NYPST? Looks like. I spotted Tibble over at the bar. I guess you got to do the invite to the commissioner. He looked like he was in a good mood. Cop talk? This is a party. Nadine hooked arms around McNabb and Eve's wrist. With all of my favorite people. From the looks of it, you have a lot of favorites, and a good chunk of them are cops. You work the crime beat, you make friends with cops, or you don't work it long. It's a total bash, McNabb told her. The music slays. I'm gonna get Peabody out there and show them how it's done. Cha! He's cute. Nadine beamed after McNabb. It's the first time I've ever seen a grown man in an orange tux. It's the glow-in-the-dark tie that makes it. It does as a flair. Look at him go. He's got some moves. They're so happy. Congratulations, Rourke told Nadine. It's a wonderful party and the centerpiece is stunning. Thank you, both of you. I'm just so happy. She's happy. I need to steal Dallas for a minute. I won't keep her long. So they do talk about the case a little bit. No, not this case, the other case, the Icove case. And then she shows Eve the book, and she's gonna give Eve a copy of the book, and the dedication in the front of the book says, for Lieutenant Eve Dallas, courageous, relentless, insightful, who honors her badge every day as she stands for the living and the dead. And Eve loves it, but she's flustered, and she's like, I was just doing my job. So we'll leave fantasy and death there. We could keep reading for hours. And don't forget to check out Star Trek Next Generation Recap Fridays or Star Trek Voyager Recap Fridays, my Gal Pal Saturday, and Unboxing Sunday, and Flashback Monday, and my daily book reviews. And I will see you next week for book 31, Indulgence in Death. And we're working our way closely to the big one, to the climactic, earth-shattering for Eve. The rest of us, it's a good book, it's a serious book, but and it doesn't have too many of the quirks in it because it's the character crescendo, it's the story crescendo of the entire previous 30 books of all Eve's childhood and all the stuff she went through. It's a crescendo. So have a good one.